Michael Ma is a f***ing coward. Michael Ma was elected under the banner of the Conservatives, who seek to conserve the foundations that make the country stable, free, and united. Michael Ma was elected by over 27,000 people in the Markham-Unionville riding, with a clear-cut conservative mandate to conserve the democratic accountability and the rule of law, with major decisions made by the elected representatives. Michael Ma was elected to conserve our individual freedoms such as speech, conscience, and due process. Michael Ma was elected to conserve fiscal responsibility to prevent debt and inflation from the undermining future generations. Michael Ma was elected to conserve shared national unity and culture and a civic identity, emphasizing common values, responsibilities, and local cohesion. Michael Ma was elected to conserve national unity and equal treatment under the law, resisting policies that divide Canadians into competing groups. Michael Ma has decided to backstab every single one of the voters that stood with him at the polls. Now Michael Ma has joined the Liberals, which is supposed to be his enemy. Michael Ma is a coward. And the Canadian people need to stand up and demand change. If you want to switch sides, you should have to go back to the voting booths and run a by-election in a riding. Our political system is a joke. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the 49th Line. My name is Logan, and as you could tell from the title and the intro, we're going to be talking about Michael Ma, the Conservative MP from the Markham-Unionville riding that just a few days ago decided to stab the back of every single voter and join the very people he was supposed to be opposing in the House of Commons. Michael Ma, the Liberal. All right. Let's just dive in here and take a look at what some of the people in Michael Ma's riding have to say about his decision.
Markham-Unionville MP has crossed the floor. Your thoughts on that?
I saw this last night on social media, on Instagram, the post, and I was shocked. I think over 27,000 people voted for Michael Ma in Unionville. I saw the Liberal Party press release last night where he said that, after hearing from Markham-Unionville residents, he decided, that, it was the right thing to cross the floor. I'd like to know if he actually heard from 27,000 Unionville residents, Markham-Unionville residents, because I'm positive he didn't. And I know that there's going to be a lot of upset people in Markham-Unionville in this particular riding. It's been a long-time conservative stronghold. I'm angry. Let the people decide, because he's decided for the people. It's the other way around. He was put in office by over 27,000 Markham-Unionville residents in this riding. It's not up to him to decide to cross the floor. He made a social contract with with the voters that put him in office. He's accountable to them, and if he doesn't want to be a conservative anymore and he wants to cross, resign and let's have a by-election.
I don't think it's right.
That's how it should go.
We voted for that party, that sort of platform, and to go and switch like that, I think that's I don't think that's fair to the community and the voters that supported that. Our riding, ahead of Michael Ma coming in, had a candidate that was pressured out from bigger powers that were just larger than him. I think people know what was going on. He got pushed into another riding. I voted for Michael Ma and the Conservatives, trying to support the platform. It's been over 10 years. It's been tough. I think people are looking for change. So this whole idea that we respect his decision, it's kind of coy, and we're just too passive as Canadians. I think we got to demand more from our government. I never got invited to the community center to hear why he's doing it, what benefits him crossing the floor would bring to us.
I'm not so happy they're following that developing story. I mean, it's his own choice, right? Just like everybody can have to make up their own mind if they decide to. Must be something going on behind the scene.
You think there's something behind the scenes in the Conservative Party?
Well, there must be something leading to the decision, right? maybe he's not willing to stay where he was staying. He was maybe it's better opportunity going over another party.
So you think he has the right to make the move? It should be his choice.
I think so.
People voted for the conservative, and then now he switched. So I guess I feel bad for the people.
I was quite surprised of his decisions, but not sure the reason why he making that abrupt decision. But we'll see what happens. I think people vote potentially because of his merits, but also because of the party he belonged to.
Yeah.
So I think switching really without talking, got consensus of people may not be the right move. So, but again, it's his decision. But obviously, that's something for us to think about as a voter in futures. About jumping to crossing the line to the other side. So.
Well said, and you agreed with him.
Yes, I totally agree. I voted for him because of the party he belonged to in the first place.
I switched from
So yeah, this is something that people don't understand. You're not voting for Michael Ma himself. I know that's how our political system works. You're voting for the individual, not the party. But everyone has a general consensus of if you like the Conservatives, you want the Conservatives to win, you vote for the Conservatives. You don't give a shit about what Michael Ma thinks personally. He's supposed to be there to represent the Conservative people. That's what they wanted. Anyways, let's look at another clip here from Michael Ma. This was him in the House of Commons on December 2nd. 9 days before he switched over to the Liberals. This is what Michael Ma was saying about the party that he is now a part of.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As we get into the details of the Budget Implementation Act, it is important to take a step back to assess the philosophy that has informed the budget itself. The big picture on the budget rests on a single question. Is the government a player or a referee in the arena we know as Canada? Of course, this arena isn't hosting a game of hockey or soccer. This is a game of factions. This is a game of competing interests. That is, a game of competing private interests. Mr. Speaker, the government as a referee would take no sides. The referee gets out of the way. He draws the lines of arena and he lays down the rules that will allow the best players and teams to win. This is a North Star of the conservative worldview. Unfortunately, the Red Liberal government sees itself as a player. It is picking winners and losers through that age-old enemy of human progress, central planning and interventionism. Because the Liberals see themselves as a player, they have always been stacking the game in their favor. They are team asset inflation. They are team rentier economy. They are team feudalism. The Liberals do not believe in productive economy that works for hardworking Canadians. One of the chief ways team feudalism has empowered their rentier economy with unending asset inflation is through immigration. The immigration files has been noticeably absent from the debate on the budget and its implementation. So please allow me to give it some floor time. Mr. Speaker, affordability for Canadians is a core conservative focus. As a member of the Standing Committee of the Citizenship and Immigration, I have learned over the past several months how this immigration file is deeply affecting housing, healthcare, and employment for everyday Canadians. The Liberals admit on page 95 in the budget that, I quote, the pace of arrivals began to exceed Canada's capacity to absorb and support newcomers, unquote. On the same page, the Liberals further admits that in 2018, 3.3% of Canada's population were temporary residents. By 2024, that number had more than doubled to 7.5%, an unprecedented rate of growth that put pressure on housing supply and the healthcare system. These expressions in percentages don't do the raw numbers justice. Let me take one of the most devastating years on record, that is 2023, and allow me to repeat the figures. We issued over 681,000 study permits to international students. We issued over 761,000 work permits through the International Mobility Program. We issued over 183,000 work permits through the Temporary Foreign Worker Program. I grant that there is some overlap between these categories, as a single person can count under two categories. Nonetheless, we are in a situation where our economy has been flooded at the latest an extra million foreigners in any given year. The rapid growth of temporary residents overall in 2022 and 2023 contributed to Canada having the highest annual population growth rate since 1957. These figures are madness when you realize that over 30 years ago, we used to admit around 30,000 international students per year. Team feudalism across the aisle knows that the game they are playing, just as they engage in deficit spending to map more units of currency to a stagnant suite of goods and services. Team feudalism has flooded an increasing number of people into Canada against a roughly steady state housing and job situations. What does team feudalism produce in both situations? They produce their time-honored gold of asset inflation under a rentier model. The Liberals have issued both the Temporary Foreign Worker Program and the International Mobility Program as a business model to keep wages artificially low, to keep paper profits high, and to price Canadians out of the job market. The interventionist red Liberals picked their winners, and they have chosen to give a discretionary government subsidy to unproductive rentier businesses that can only function on the modern equivalent of slave labor. Mr. Speaker, I wish this was the end of my immigration critique, but there is another unfortunate layer. I don't know whether this is a tragedy or a comedy. We know, for instance, that nearly 50,000 holders of foreign student visas were not studying at any Canadian university or college, but rather working and attempting to settle here. This finding is confusing unless we realize that we have not been matching our international student intake to our labor market needs. The main field of choice for international students has been business studies, and at the college level, nearly 50% of all international students are enrolled in business programs. In the 2022 to 2023 academic year, there were over 90,000 international students enrolled in college business programs, and close to 60,000 international students in university business programs. Mr. Speaker, this is...
So yeah, you guys got the idea. 9 days ago, Michael was talking about how bad the Liberals are for our economy and for our immigration system. So what's changed, Michael? Can you tell us? Why are you now a part of them? How did they change your mind? What did they do to sway your vote? And if we, another super funny thing. On December 10th, Michael Ma was seen here. How do I? There he is at the Conservative Christmas party. December 10th.
One day later.
Oh, there is the Liberals. What'd they get you, Michael? What'd they do?
Wow, such a big welcome. Thank you. Thank you. All I want to say is Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a great 2026 coming to all of you. Thank you.
Once again, I'll say it. Our political system is a joke, people. 27,000 people elected that guy to be a conservative representative. And then overnight, after hanging out with Pierre Poilievre at the Christmas party, decides, oh, you know what? I'm going to go be a Liberal. And just like that, he's gone. There has to be a system put in place where you can't just backstab all the voters that voted for you to be a conservative and represent their conservative values and just say, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm going to go become a Liberal now. I don't care what any of you guys think. Stay broke. I'm going to go join the other team. They offered me XYZ. They said it'll be a better position for me over there. So, yeah, see you later. And then you got freaking Steve McKinnon coming out with this smug-ass smile. Look at this guy.
Are you
Oops.
anti...
With respect to the floor crossing last night, can you tell us how you managed to convince Mr. Ma to come across, how many other MPs you're talking to, and when we can expect to see the next Conservative join the Liberal ranks?
Look at that smile.
Well, what I'll say is I'll repeat what I just said in French, which is that all of my colleagues here have the same experience of speaking to Conservative members, unfortunately a group which is in the minority in their group, who are extremely frustrated with the leadership of their party, extremely frustrated with the small games and the obstruction. They tell us how much they enjoyed the spring session. Ironically, Mr. Poilievre was not a part of the House of Commons during that session, but where we passed, and they voted for, big transformative legislation Look, they realize, like we do, that we're at a turning point. They realize, like we do, that we're in a trade war and that serious solutions are required. And
Here's a solution: build the fucking pipeline. Right? Why do you guys slap down that motion?
they are required every day to go through this charade of obstruction, and you see it, repeating the same question 40 times in the House of Commons every day.
Because you won't answer.
That is a soul-destroying experience for many Conservative members of Parliament. And so all of us hear it. Unfortunately, those do not seem to be the majority of the Conservative caucus. The majority of the Conservative caucus want to follow this leader, to appeal to the base, to prop up his leadership, and to win their leadership review in January. So we can only hope that some of this goes away after that review. But in the meantime, there are others like Mr. Ma who I know share the kind of view that I just described.
With respect to the floor.
I know I don't want to do this to you guys, but we're gonna have to watch this. Where'd that other banner go? All right, I didn't want to have to do this to you guys, but we're gonna watch Carney welcome the ex-conservative Michael Ma to the Liberal Party at their Christmas
Some
party
of you,
on December
and I salute
11th.
you, have been liberals your whole life. Yeah. Some of you apparently came back from the dead to be liberals here tonight. Others, like me, are new to politics. I'm not a politician. Others are new to politics. I am now. Yes, you're right. Some may have just joined our party. Some, like literally, just joined our party. So let's give a warm welcome to our newest member of the Liberal Party, Michael Ma, the MP for Union Martinville.
Yeah, it's hard to watch.
Wow, such a big welcome. Thank you. Thank you. All I want to say is Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a great 2026 coming to all of you. Thank you, and enjoy the party tonight.
Amazing. Thank you, Michael. All right. Chris D'Entremont. Chris D'Entremont. Chris, I want to thank you for bringing your experience, your ideas, your energy to our common mission of protecting safe communities, of growing a strong economy, of creating new opportunities for families in Nova Scotia and right across Canada. I hope you were up for the Taoiseach. Chris and Michael, I mean, look at this crowd. Your family. We're all over for Christmas. You are going to have a much better time spending Christmas with us than Christmas with the cranks. We are all about Santa, not about the Grinch. And Liberals, we welcome people from every demographic. We span generations. In fact, I found out recently that I am generationally fluid. My Spotify listening age is 44, which is young, by the way, if you're my age. So for those, a product surely of playing Coda Pirat and Down with Webster at our rallies.
And this is exactly why people are rightfully furious. Because let's be honest, voters didn't elect Michael Ma, the individual. Nobody gives a fuck who this guy is. Nobody was voting based on his personality, Because let's be real, after watching those clips, he's got the personality of a rock. Nobody was voting for Michael Mobb based on his future political ambitions or where he wants to take his career. No one gives a shit. They voted because you were a conservative. They voted for a seat that would push back against the liberals. They voted for a seat that would support Pierre Poilievre. They voted for a seat that would stand against Mark Carney and the liberal agenda. And after the election, that seat was taken from us and given right to the liberals, the very party we were trying to stop. You can't tell me in 9 days your views evolved and you thought you were doing what's best for your constituents of your riding. You just saw the videos. They didn't want this to happen. Ask anybody in Markham, Unionville. Nobody wanted this to happen. That's a complete betrayal of those voters. Those are the people who put you there, and you just betrayed all of them. If you wanted to switch parties, fine. But then you resign. Trigger a by-election and let people decide if they still support you under a different banner, which we all know they wouldn't. Anything other than that is just gaming the system. And that's the bigger issue here. Our political system desperately needs a refresher. Because when MPs can just cross the floor without any consequences, voters don't actually get real representation. They get manipulated. Democracy doesn't work if your vote can be flipped after the fact. So the question Canadians should be asking isn't just about Michael Ma or Chris D'Entremont. It's whether we're okay with a system where the party loyalty only matters until the votes are counted. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Should MPs be forced to face a by-election if they switch parties? Because if your vote can be ignored that easily, was it really even respected in the first place? Thanks for watching the 49th line. As you can tell, I was a little worked up. This video took a little bit longer to make than my other ones. So make sure you show me support. Give me a like. Comment. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. See you later.